Hello everyone. You're live with Nancy Schaefer, Missing Persons Recovery Specialist. First, I want to thank everybody for the little bit of time off that I needed. Second, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I know everyone's running around doing their shopping. But I'm coming live to you today regarding the Sherri Papini case. I've been watching all the articles, the 2020, I believe it was, that they did with, the husband did with, about her abduction. First, I want to start by saying that it has come to my attention that Sherri Papini supposedly has a blog from 2007 or some kind of a website under her maiden name, and she talks about Hispanic people and Hispanic girls in her experience I guess in high school. I'm not really sure if it's high school or college from the blog. But one thing that struck me funny was it had the name across the top of the blog that says skinhead. I can see where everyone is skeptical regarding this case, and let me tell you why. First off, I noticed that the GoFundMe raised an astronomical amount of money. I think it was like over $40,000 or something like that. But yet, I don't know if any of the search and rescue people were ever compensated for their efforts in that case. Another thing that struck me weird, we now have a blog sorry, Ashley, I can't discuss that. That's being handled with attorneys. But I'm going to go back on to what I was talking about. Sherri Papini has, under her maiden name, it appears, supposedly, a blog or some form of website to where she talks about Hispanic girls and being bullied and all this other stuff. I can see where everyone's skeptical with this case. I'm wondering if law enforcement has checked all of the computers she has access to. I don't know if this was a ploy or money-making scheme, but it seems to me, based off of the facts, another thing that struck me odd was her husband, in his interview was very, very strange. He seemed to not have his words straight. He had no eye contact whatsoever. He kept looking away. That's usually a sign of dishonesty. I can't say either way. If I feel, from the onset, I did feel that this was an abduction. But it's really strange that the minimal activity as far as what she knew about these people and that they were just two Hispanic women. The fact that she has a blog or a thing from 2007 talking about Spanish or Hispanic females and how bad they are and stuff like that, I was really shocked to see that, because I was all behind. We actually, our team and our organization worked very, very hard behind the scenes on her case. I have to be honest with you. I agree with a lot of people that think that this is a sham. It certainly appears that way to me. I don't know if this was a ploy or a money-making scheme. And if one thing that I noticed too, which is kind of strange, if you look at the things that are being released, it fits a lot of scenarios. And that usually fits a lot of scenarios because the person did a lot of research prior to if this was a staged abduction or regardless of whatever it was. The woman who saw her didn't agree with seeing a bag over her head or being shackled or anything like that. Now, and the branding part of it, I really have a lot of questions with this case. And I certainly hope that, considering the large amount of money that people were solicited through the GoFundMe, are going to have their money returned. I was also made aware that according to someone, that the family and Sherri Papini and her husband will keep the funds. I do not know how true that is, but considering I think this should be looked in further if this is a scam or not. I don't know if this lady is looking for a book deal or what the circumstances are. But I also want to say that if it is in this case, I think that law enforcement should look at the aspect of, she under her maiden name, she has some kind of website, blog or whatever it is, talking about how she was treated with the Spanish girls, and it was called Skinheads. Now, and it is under her maiden name, so I'm wondering if possibly that this could be, instead of a sexual motive or sex trafficking, if this could be from her website or her blog that she had, that she was writing in 2007. So, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the support with my live videos, and I did need to take a break to handle some things, but I'm not going to discuss that or go further into that. But I'm wondering if that was not the motive, if this really was an abduction, if this was not the motive of the reason maybe she was abducted and beat up. Now, I don't know. It's hard to say because they're not really saying too much. I have put a request out there from law enforcement as well. I'm wondering if the motive of her being abduction was her racist, and yeah, I call it racist. First of all, I don't think that someone should be talking about any race in a derogatory manner, and to call it skinheads. So I'm wondering if the reason why she was abducted is because she portrayed herself as being a racist. To have a website or a blog that says skinheads, the money in the GoFundMe should be returned regardless. I'm happy she was found safe. You know, no one wishes anyone any ill harm, but things just are not making sense to me, and things are adding up, and I think that they're not adding up for law enforcement as well. Now, the branding is indicative of sex trafficking, but I'm wondering, I can't ignore this blog or this website talking about Spanish females and in a derogatory sense of calling it skinhead. Calling yourself a skinhead is the same thing as calling yourself in the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, I'm wondering if that was not the motive of the abduction, of talking bad about Spanish women and saying bad things about their. We're going to try to get the blog, even though I believe it was temporarily taken down, but I personally saw it, and it is under her maiden name, and I believe it was within the years of 2005, 2006, and 2007, how she documents about being treated with Spanish girls in a derogatory sense. I, as a person, am disgusted that she would even refer to anybody as a sense And when you refer to it as Latina or Spanish girls, you are putting everyone in a category as they all Spanish girls are bad. Some of my most best friends are Spanish, and I myself being Native American, I'm offended by it. So I don't see why anyone else would be offended by it, especially people within that nationality. So that being said, I know none of the news reporters or anything are reporting about this alleged blog or website. First of all, I think that the people that are skeptical regarding this abduction, if it happened or not, one of the key tellers for me is this 2020 video or session that the husband had. I want you guys to go back and watch it. He couldn't even look at the guy straight in the eye, and that's usually someone that's a sign of being dishonest. It couldn't even remember, and it kept on like fixing his words about like what she had on or what she didn't have on. I can see why people are skeptical and angry, especially people wanting their money back from the GoFundMe. I myself spent, I don't know, I want to say, I have to go look at my spreadsheet, but I myself spent probably about 90 hours working on her case. So yeah, if this is a faked abduction to go along with her, whatever people thinking this is a sham, I'm offended. Time is money. People want their money back from the GoFundMe, and I can understand that. So, I mean, they're not paying expenses for the search and rescue, which I think, to be honest with you, I know that those searches probably went over into the millions of dollars from what they've done and their resources. And just because the members are volunteers doesn't mean that they don't have expenses. I myself, doing missing persons cases and conducting searches, know that these cases and the equipment and the dogs and everything, the costs are astronomical. So that's one thing that I'm gonna say, that where is the funds going to from that GoFundMe, considering she's recovered. I don't either way, I'm not God, say that this is a fake or it's not a fake, but it certainly is suspicious, and the things behind it and the things that have talked about and backed it up are certainly suspicious. I mean, not one person that I have seen a comment that says this is a sham. I'm not saying it didn't ring in my head going ding, 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 ding. Warning flags are all over the place. So how could you be angry at that? I certainly think it should be looked into, and I certainly would be interested to see if anyone's being paid for their interviews and stuff like that. I mean, if she was abducted, again, if she was abducted because of the fact of the racist stuff, and yeah, I'm calling it racist. To have a website or have something to say skinhead and then talk about Spanish girls or Latinas, which is kind of funny that that's the same way she described her captors. I don't know. 2 and 2 is just not adding up. Hi, Vicky. So, my recommendations is for law enforcement, and if you notice things are starting to change gears with this, where it's called alleged abduction, it's very possible that she pissed off the wrong people, and some of these Spanish people didn't like it with the racist afflex, and decided to teach her a lesson. Karma. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying either way. Or, does anyone have any questions before I pop off of here? Any questions? This is Sherri Papini. She was allegedly abducted out of Redding, California. Actually, someone on our thing I was working on her case for weeks. She was abducted out of Redding, California. Allegedly abducted. I'm going to say allegedly. It's okay. So, my recommendations to law enforcement is to search any available computers, even her family members' computers, to see if she was doing some form of research on what would be the signs of abduction with sex trafficking. I think it is, and I don't know if you guys know that, but there was a girl abducted that looks very similar to her a long time ago that was never recovered. She actually went to the same high school with this girl. So I don't know if that's where they're getting their story from or not, but it certainly is suspicious within itself. No one's really gonna know, but I think it's kind of ironic that law enforcement is now calling it a alleged abduction, because things are just not adding up. It's just not. But watch the 2020 video. I believe it was 2020 that the husband did. Watch his eye contact. Watch him keep on fixing his words. I've seen him do several videos prior to her being abducted, allegedly abducted, and I've never seen that before. I'm not coming on here and saying either way, I'm not God, that she was or she was not abducted. But I would think that the motive of her being abducted is to having a website under her maiden name, talking about racist afflects and calling it skinheads and talking about Latino girls. But then these are the type of people that were described as being her abductors. So yeah, if she was abducted, I certainly don't want to make light of anything that she may have endured, but I can see where people are pissed. I can see where people are upset about the astronomical amount of money that's not being returned. And if the motive for abduction was her racist affects, then I don't know. But I myself are torn between one way or the other. First of all, she's too old to be a target as sex trafficked. Yes, she does look a lot younger than probably her normal age. She's fit, attractive. Yeah, I get it. But I am not, I can't help to have those questions in the back of my head, that this was not staged or she wasn't abducted because the fact of her talking about Spanish people in a racist affect as skinheads on a website. She pissed the wrong person off, and you cannot go on somewhere. And I did a live video with Lucrease Kid last night regarding the we did a spoof of why black guys date white girls. You cannot take one person and sit there and say all Spanish girls are this way. Granted, there are some within any culture that's that certain way, but you can't label them all that way. I mean, some of my best friends are Spanish. Some of my best friends are Greek. I mean, and they're my homies, you know, they're my girls. And you can't do that. you know, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pop back up on here. All right. I would look into, I'm not angry at the people who are saying that they think that this is a hoax, because it certainly, to me, there is enough of reasonable doubt to think that I think there is as well. But, talk to you guys later. Hopefully I'll be back on sometime today, get back into the game of everything. And thank you guys very much.